Going live. I believe we're live.
Going or are?
Are. As of now. Now.
Yes, now we
Going
are.
live. Fantastic. Okay, so I believe. Thanks for joining
going
us.
or are?
Oh, hello. As of. Let me just turn that volume off so that I have to listen to you a second after myself.
Yes, now we
Going
are.
live. Fantastic. Okay, right, let's turn that off and let's turn it off. Okay, excellent. Right. Welcome to another episode of Tea Time Live. My name is Ross.
Oh, my name is Craig.
Got one line, Greg. And it's, if you haven't put the kettle on already, hurry up because it's time to put the kettle on. It's tea time. I need to find out a way of getting that music back in. That's what we need. We need the music back in. So, someone help me work out how to do that.
Yeah, we got that 5 seconds to compose ourselves. Okay, should we just start with the news? Shall I share my screen?
I'm just going to take my 5 seconds to compose myself.
Oh yeah, you did the slurp thing.
I've done the slurp, we're good.
Cool.
So, what is in the sustainable technical news of the week this week? Where should we start?
Something that's been fairly big and fairly big today. So let's just start with the elephant in the room. Cryptocurrency. So it has started with Mr. Musk here, when he basically U-turned on the idea of using Bitcoin to buy a Tesla.
Yes, and now he's hated for it.
Oh, he's completely hated for it. He dipped the market some fair bit.
Yeah.
But what happened today, which added to the fire, is China also banned it.
Yes.
So we saw Bitcoin get down to its lowest point in the last 6 months, I believe.
Is it that long? I feel like it's been on a massive rally. That it probably only. Yes, it definitely dropped a lot, but is it that from that distance? Where are we at right now?
Check.
So a little quick look. So it's currently obviously any Americans watching, I apologise, but I only have it in British pounds. 27 at the moment, and getting close to 28.
Yes, but it did get into 21 today.
Yeah, okay. It's certainly so for the last. It got to 42 within the last month. So from 42 down to 27, quite a hefty collapse, which is great for those buying, not for those hodling like myself.
No. Yes, it all started with the U-turn. I'll be a chat about this in a week, why he potentially U-turned. We had an interesting few ideas. Do you remember those ideas?
Well, I see. The thing is, I take him at his word, generally speaking, because from my experience, he does tend to say what he means. My take is that he there was some reports came out basically over the last 6 months of where the energy usage for Bitcoin has come from, and there was quite a noticeable spike, particularly in coal use. And all the people that complained have said, well, you must have known that was going to be the case, but actually, generally, this information came out in the last 6 months after they bought it in January. So that report says much higher use of coal. So they've turned around and said, right, hey, do you know what? We believe in cryptocurrency. We think it is the future. However, right now, it's encouraging coal plants to fire up again, and we don't want a part of that. So we're not going to sell our crypto, but we are going to stop taking it as payment. So I don't see that as much of a flip. I just see that as new information's come in and they've gone, okay, look, we're going to take a slight step back from here. I mean, they could have gone all out and sold their crypto, and I think that would have been a complete flip, but they haven't done that. They've just said, look, we're not going to be part of the current problem of mining it and the transactions. We're going to wait until that's improved, and we're not going to do any more transactions until then.
Yes, and that improvement is a significant improvement. You want to get it down to under 1% of the current energy per transaction, which is significant. And in today's current crypto trend or crypto technology, that hasn't been achieved.
No, well, that's where it becomes slightly interesting, because there are some other cryptocurrencies which are doing a better job in that area, and I think that everyone's favourite at the moment is Cardano.
Cardano, yeah.
And so yes, that one has rallied, or did rally, shortly after that tweet of his.
Yes, but even Cardano is nowhere near 1%.
And it also sold off today.
The evolution of things. Bitcoin is obviously generation 1. Then we got the Ethereums, which are generation 2. Cardanos, so they're revolution 3s. So they are better.
And can you explain to the viewers what that actually means?
Bitcoin, blockchain, all that technology is open source, and it was improved upon algorithmically. Mainly, they changed the algorithm slightly to make it more efficient for generation 2, which is where Ethereum first place, and they improved it again, which is version 3, which is the Cardanos. Effectively, they're all built off of Bitcoin and the open source nature of the product, but they've slightly tweaked it to have a better energy per transaction usage. Effectively, it just takes a lot less to crunch a validation request.
Yeah, which is basically how the Bitcoin network works. It's lots of crunching of numbers in order to validate everything that goes through it. And so basically generation 2 and generation 3 are just doing that number crunching quicker, and therefore use less energy.
Yes. And the way this UL validation is set up is to do the crunching on purpose as well, because it's a safe way to validate.
Would that be the
UL Byzantine's general problem?
Is that the proof of work thing?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think then obviously the next thing that came out was he was talking about that he's working with the Doge developers.
Is he now?
Yeah. So he said he's looking to increase the speed or something by 10x, and reduce the fees by something like 100x or something. So he's coming out with these numbers, going like, this is what needs to happen in order to make it, the cryptocurrency for the people. And then he got even more hatred for that. Basically, then people start to say, hey, you know what, you're pumping and dumping Bitcoin, and now you're doing the same thing with Doge. For some reason, people can't, he told everyone on SNL that he's Asperger's or Asperger's, however you pronounce it. He does tend to say things literally what he means, but people like to add meanings that I don't believe he has. So they're thinking he's doing all of this stuff. Basically, he wants a cryptocurrency that does what it's supposed to do. He doesn't want to build it himself. So he started speaking to the Doge developers because basically he created, perhaps unintentionally, a bit of a rapport with them. Apparently, actually, he's been working with them since 2019. Or at least he's been in talks with them since 2019. Don't know if that's true, but I have read that. So then someone said, why don't you just make your own one? To which he responded, well, I could do, but it's a pain in the bum. We will only do that if Dogecoin cannot do it. So obviously now people are speculating, on the one hand, that's it, it's Dogecoin. And on the other hand, no, Tesla's going to make their own one. Then there was another tweet where he said, someone was giving him grief for being uninformed about Bitcoin. Bearing in mind, this is the guy that founded PayPal. Like, the guy knows about money. He's not just coming to this after being a mere rocket scientist. He's actually, he was in this space before everyone else was. And he's turned around and said that he wants this stuff to happen for Doge. Doesn't want to do it himself. I forgot my thread of point. I forgot my point. If you can remind me, that'd be great.
You said somebody criticized him on the fundamentals of not understanding Bitcoin.
Yeah, and then someone came into his defense and said, well, if I were you, if I was Elon, I was getting this much grief from Bitcoin users, I would just go, all in on Doge and sell my Bitcoin. Screw you guys, type thing. And he repeated saying, indeed. Sorry, he replied, said to say indeed. As if, I think he was replying to the indeed of the, you're giving me so much grief, it's just going to make him want to go in the opposite direction. And he was agreeing with that sentiment. People have gone, right, he said indeed, he agrees, he's going to sell his Bitcoin. So then that was a whole thing. So then he had to come out and say again, just to clarify, I have not sold, Tesla has not sold its Bitcoin. So lots of people just misinterpreting. It's really simple. Just read the words, he means exactly what he says. I mean, look, we are concerned about rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transactions, especially coal, which has the worst emissions of any fuel. That is it. That's what he means. There's no weird game going on. That's what he means. He doesn't like coal. Cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how the mining has been linked to coal, because obviously mining end usage could be from anywhere, and especially as most miners are in pools.
Yeah.
I can only assume this is more to do with third world miners, where most infrastructure already does and does use coal. So maybe there's been a spike there, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know where the source of the coal has come from.
Yes, not too sure, but either way, he has single-handedly wiped about 30 to 40% off the market cost of Bitcoin. It's coming back up, but very slowly.
Can we blame Elon for today's crash? I'm not sure.
No, that's China.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, as you go. Bitcoin crashed this morning, May 19th, and China announced crackdown on cryptocurrencies. So we suspected this was coming for some time. India has also done the same, but they've done it some time back. Effectively, China is introducing its own digital coin, which we've discussed a few weeks back too. Of course, they're going to crack down on other cryptocurrencies because they only want their one to exist. We also talked about Bitcoin. If that was introduced, would Britain ban Bitcoin? And we said, well, they wouldn't do that because that would look really bad. Good thing is, China don't care if they look really bad. And they've gone and done it anyway.
Right.
So, talking about China, and to move on from cryptocurrencies before we spend the entire hour chatting about it, there was, where is it? This. Have you seen that China is now on Mars?
I did read it, but I haven't actually seen much on it. I watched someone else, Rocket Lab or something, launch a rocket, but I haven't seen the China stuff. I have seen the headline though. So, yeah, explain. What was the 9 minutes of terror?
Well, effectively the same as all spacecraft landed on Mars. We have no idea if it's going to actually not blow up, basically.
Right.
But this is the first time they've obviously done it. It's their 9 minutes of terror. I mean, I suppose America's been through this a couple of times now. But yeah, they touched down. They've gone to the icy side, which is interesting.
Okay.
Roughly 1,200 miles away from the American mission. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, this is their first time. So China has entered the race.
Yeah, but wasn't China also the one that accidentally let that rocket go nuts and then land somewhere last week?
Or the one that, did that actually land in the end?
Yeah,
still
in the sea, but I mean, they were lucky, really.
But they didn't know, yeah. They had no idea where it was going to go, yeah.
No one could predict the maths on predicting where it's going to land was too impossible to do apparently until about an hour before the event. Basically, after it's already come in. Yeah, I mean, you've got to be careful. I mean, like, they literally could have been, not only could they Political. But not only have they potentially unleashed a virus on us last year, but they may now just be like just dropping rockets on America under the story or whatever of rockets. Oh, did we drop one? Oh, that's awkward. Yeah, stop.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Stop bombing America. Okay, okay. We're on to you. We're watching.
I mean, it's a good chance it would land in the sea. Yeah, there's 30% chance of landing in the sea, so luckily it did. Otherwise, yeah, that would cause some problem.
I mean, can you imagine
if it lands somewhere else?
Can you imagine if I hit New York or something? Oh my goodness, it'd be nuts.
Right on the White House lawn.
Yeah.
There's World War III. But anyway, moving on from World War III, we also have China is looking for ancient life, which is interesting because NASA's also trying to do the same thing, but they've landed on the ice cap side. Yeah. So they are going to start drilling into the ice and having a look in there, which is different to what NASA's doing. They're looking for more.
I guess they had to be different, really. Isn't there
residual
point parking next to them, is there?
What's that?
They had to be different, really. I guess. There's no point parking. You go all the way to Mars. There's no point parking next to the other one. You might as well go and try and do something different and have a discovery that they don't get.
Can you imagine if it was kind of like I don't know, some sort of galactic robot wars, like China lands with a little hammer, which is just chasing the Renaissance. What's it called? The Renaissance spot thing.
What was it? Is it Hypnodisc?
Absolutely.
Like
what's that one?
Hypnodisc, wasn't that a robot?
Oh yeah, the spinning one. Yeah.
Just basically come up and just saw Perseverance in half.
Yeah, just mows down the rovers.
Don't know what happened. Read about it. Is it malfunctioned? Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, the last picture I see is just the Chinese robot just driving past. But either way, very interesting to see if China find anything, and if they do find something, will they tell us? Who knows? We're hoping that NASA would, but again, we don't know if NASA will either.
I also read, it took them or maybe they still haven't confirmed, or it took them maybe a day to confirm whether or not they landed or not. So it doesn't bode well, does it? We found something. Yeah, we're not telling you. Nah.
Yeah. Well, this finally happens. In other space news, now this one is interesting. Russia and the US are bolding up for another space race. The first ones to film a feature film in space. And this one involves Yulia, which is a Russian actress, and Tom Cruise, who's the American actor, who are going up against each other to end up on the ISS to film a film, basically.
Okay.
They're going to try and make the first one in space and set that record.
Oh, hello. Am I frozen? That's not helpful.
I can't see your mouth moving.
Well, either that I've gone into a small coma, or... Yeah, that's not helpful. Right, bear with me a second. So I can fix this problem.
Yeah, don't worry. There's only one person watching. I think that's me.
I'm back.
Yay!
It's all right.
Hasn't happened for a while.
It's all right. Don't worry. I'm back. It's okay. Right.
Yeah,
so basically, so Russia trying to get up to ISS, and America trying to get up to make a film.
Yes.
Because they can both go to ISS.
Because it's the International Space Station. Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't need permission from the other one. They can just go whenever they like. Is that right?
I mean, they need international permission, but I mean, since the US and Russia basically built the thing, I think mostly Russia built it. I'm not quite sure, but maybe.
It's like just Tom Cruise's dream, surely. Actually, do it for real.
Well, he's 59. He wants to get up there. An interesting thing is that the Tom Cruise has not given a date when he's getting up there, but now speculated to be the end of October because Russia are going to be the beginning of October. Almost as if, yeah, we're going to beat you.
Huh.
So whether or not they can reschedule or not, I have no idea. But yeah, there's
Yulia.
one actor, one
Yulia, get
director
some
with a
life
camera.
insurance. It would be a shame to lose her. She's pretty.
Something down here. Well, they're actually looking for the female candidate. It's very strict. Yeah, this. They wanted someone who was between 25 and 40, had to be Russian, had to weigh between 50 and 70 kilograms, had to have a chest girth of up to 112 centimeters, and additionally had to run a kilometer in 3.5 minutes, 800 meters freestyle in 20 minutes swimming, and dive from a 3-meter springboard with an impressive technique. That is how Yulia got selected, because she aced all that.
I mean, it is saying, like, I'm picking up because you know the chest girth thing. It is saying up to. At least it's not saying a minimum of, which is probably what we get used to. It's saying we don't want to be too big because we can't put them in a suit otherwise.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I would have used those words.
I've never considered that being an issue of a female astronaut, but it makes sense, I suppose, that after a certain point, I suppose they would get in the way.
Yeah, and you know, they very politely said no fatties, which is good.
I mean, that's definitely not going to work, is it?
No.
Imagine the extra few. Anyway, moving on from space and a bit of whales. So this...
bringing it back, isn't it?
Very cool.
Back to Earth. Bloody whales.
Yep. So this was very cool. We discussed a world without work a few weeks back too, and the idea of UBI, Universal Basic Income. And it's only really been trialed in 2 places. I believe it was Finland, somewhere else, maybe Iceland. I can't remember. It was Nordic countries.
Right.
So Wales is running its own trial.
Right. Good old
so
Mark
this is pretty
Drakeford.
cool. It's going to kick off this year, I think. That's the idea. If it was all based on when Mark Drakeford won the election, which he did. So he's now gone ahead and just basically say, yes, we're doing this.
Wow. Okay.
One thing is a bit of a problem is that here, the welfare system is not devolved in Wales. So if the trial is successful, Wales would have to ask Westminster for permission to roll it out.
Oh.
So that'd be interesting to see if that happens. But Wales is the first, and they're looking to push for Scotland and England to be the next ones to follow. So that's pretty interesting, I think. I mean, I do like the whole idea of universal basic income. I think it simplifies a lot of problems. And it doesn't...
I like that little quote at the bottom there. In an interview on Friday with Greatest Hits Radio, Drakeford went further. When asked if he would press ahead with the pilot, he replied, yes. I don't expect that from a politician. I expect 17 other words, of which doesn't clarify yes or no.
We will try our best.
Yes.
Yep, so he's gone with a strong yes, and it's happening. No details of how much will be spent. Right now it's only saying cover the basic cost of living. So is that minimum wage? Is that what's it called? Minimum income life average thing? Either way, it's regardless of income, you will get a flat, say, 12 grand a year. Everyone. Now, it really does simplify the system somewhat.
Yeah, no, it's but I mean, I feel like it's too early to comment, but I've sort of suggested that I'm intrigued by this idea as to whether it would work. So yeah, that's good. Good that it's been trialled. That's what these tests are for.
Exactly, and let's see what happens. Moving on. So this one's an interesting one. Basically, this company thinks we can use trees to make batteries.
Okay.
We've heard of this before. So it's a Japanese company, and they're effectively going to replace the lithium by using really fine, pulped up trees. Hundreds of a micron.
Okay. And what does that do?
It allows it to become superconductors, basically, or supercapacitors rather.
Oh, how? I mean, typically you associate wood with not conducting electricity.
I suppose anything that small will probably be good.
Okay. I guess it's
Um,
I guess it's supposed to store it as opposed to conduct it. So
yeah,
maybe it helps with that. I don't know.
yeah. Either way, it'll have a high power density, release energy quickly, longer lifespan, fast charging times, and they don't degrade. I'm not really sure how that is true.
Well,
But
yeah,
the whole idea is,
because a
is
tree
stemmed from
degrades.
a yeah. I mean, it's coming from an environmental friendly attitude, I suppose, and it gets rid of the reliance on lithium, which is going to become an issue. It's probably already an issue.
Isn't isn't lithium the one that of which there's loads of
I'm
in
not sure.
in the ground? I mean, it's like the cobalt stuff, and like lithium actually doesn't have that much. Lithium-ion batteries doesn't actually have that much lithium in it. I'm sure I've read that before. Percentage of lithium in a lithium-ion battery.
But lithium does degrade.
Right. Okay.
I think we discussed last week about the lithium, what was it called, the re-lithiation or something, when you re-lithiate things.
Yeah, a typical EV battery cell has perhaps a couple of grams of lithium in it, and something else on here says it's less than 1% of the battery cost. That's not a percentage of stuff, but yeah, a few grams.
Okay, so a few grams of tree instead.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know.
Interesting.
It feels like
See what
it
happens.
feels like the solid state battery stuff at the minute. It feels like, yeah, okay, produce it, make thousands of them, then we'll
See what
talk.
happens. Yes.
Yeah.
In the interest of time, not going to discuss this one too much. Respond that powers the LED by body heat. We know this is possible. Makes sense this is happening. I kind of like my Fitbit, for example. There's no reason why that can't be powered by my wrist itself. So I hope that type of stuff becomes more mainstream.
Yeah.
This one, I did like this one. This one was an obvious idea, which I'm surprised no one's thought of earlier.
I'm already surprised I haven't thought of it, and I don't even know what it is. What is it? Oh,
The Airbnb for
gardens.
gardens. Basically, renting out your garden for people who don't have an allotment
do you
so
know
they can
what?
come and plant.
Do you know what? I was talking about something like this the other day.
Well, it's been done.
Always ahead of itself.
It's been done, and it came out basically during lockdown in the UK.
Oh, okay, good. What, like last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was having a conversation with someone the other day who basically wanted to have, he was looking for like an allotment basically, and it's like, well, there must be loads of people who have gardens who don't do anything with them because they don't like gardening. Like, they'd be quite happy for you to grow stuff on their thing and then, you know, share the produce or whatever because they didn't have to do any work. Yeah?
Yeah.
Why would you not do that? So yeah, cool. Yeah,
Basically,
great.
this rents your garden out, so you get an income from it.
Oh, even better.
So this guy set up Allot Me, cool little snazzy name,
Allotment.
and effectively it's in London right now. It started with this guy's garden, and yeah, he's following the idea of Airbnb founders who effectively hired their own. I think it was Couch. It was called Couch first, I think. Whatever Airbnb started as. So they started with their own place, and he's done the same. And he's already got someone who wants it, and that's her. So she's currently renting his garden to plant.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool. And yeah, she's doing it mainly for therapeutic mental health reasons. She dislikes being out in nature, etc. This article came out during Mental Health Awareness Week, which was last week. And overall, I think it's a pretty great idea.
I'm just looking on the website at the moment, seeing what I can find. There isn't much around where I live. You have the closest you've got is Right, let's not butcher this. Llanelli?
Llanelli.
That's what I said. Yeah. You just spat a bit more than I did. The nearest place to me, which will interest one particular viewer, I know, Kirsty, if you're listening. Frome is the nearest one from me.
Ooh, nice.
A ready-made allotment in exchange for garden help. £5 a month there. What is that? Is that how much do you have to pay? I have a plot I can't manage and need extra garden help. Hours of exchange negotiable. £5 a month.
Pretty cool.
There you go. Yeah, there isn't an awful lot at the moment, but hopefully that does pick up some. I think that's a brilliant idea.
It's a really good idea, and I hope it also grows. Cool. Talking about gardens, and something gardeners are going to be afraid of. Wildcats. What can you tell us about this, Ross?
Well, only the article that I read earlier that was basically that's obviously these are wildcats. They look like domestic cats, but they're just a bit angstier.
I mean, that cat looks really, really sad.
It just, well, I'm guessing it's a she. She looks mightily, annoyed. But maybe she had a hard day at work and whatever. But as well as wildcats, perhaps more headliney is golden eagles.
Ooh.
So wildcats, that's that cat, and the golden eagle are not the only species, but that one. Look at that evil-looking thing.
That would cause some damage.
Is what it's saying. Anyway, so looking to be reintroduced to England as part of a government thing to step up wildlife recovery. The golden eagle was exterminated in England in 1850. So it's been gone for, what's that, 170 odd years. So a new group run by Natural England has been established to consider the reintroduction of wildcats and the introduction of a declining species such as pine marten, dormice, and the short-haired bumblebee into new areas. I believe they ran a test for reintroducing a type of beaver into Devon, and that's gone well. So they're now thinking of rolling out a bigger thing, which obviously biodiversity is rather damn important. And we have a bad track record of reintroducing species into the environment and without screwing things up, but hopefully we've learned. We need more of this stuff, so that's great.
That's interesting. Hartman says the long-term project of bringing back the wildcat is 95% politics, 5% conservation. And nothing to do with the actual animal.
Great. That's comforting, isn't it?
It's very depressing.
It is a bit, yeah. But it's not just
cool,
England. Not just England, you've got it in Wales as well. That adorable thing. People are going to go, oh look, someone's lost their cat. All right.
That one looks adorable. I read up here somewhere. Where was it? This line. Wildcats look like kitties at home, but they are leopards. Okay.
Evil cats. That's what they are.
Yep, I mean that one is. Look at that one. That one looks like I shove a chip out of his ear.
Yeah. I imagine, we have nothing to fear. Just don't pet them. Definitely don't take one.
I mean, run, basically. Anyway, up next. The EU may make recycling e-waste a legal requirement. So, this kind of feels like an obvious thing to do.
Yeah.
So, they're going to make it a legal requirement. Yeah, I mean, we have like rare earth materials like, neodymium, lithium, praseodymium, I don't know what that is. But they're all critical metals that are in all this stuff that, people just chuck in landfill or something. I have no idea. I already thought it was a requirement to recycle things like batteries and everything properly. You can't just put them in the bin. But I suppose that's what the EU are now looking to do, like, properly and put a law around it.
I mean, just looking at that big pile of stuff there, um,
Yeah.
like since we've been doing that stuff with the micro generation and stuff we did a few weeks ago, the number of computer fans and magnets and things that are in that pile of stuff, salvageable. I want it. Yeah, you could all sorts of fun stuff in there. Take
I
things
mean,
out.
it's weird because that's the 90s. Like everyone just grabbed the 90s and threw it on the street.
Yeah, but the stuff in there, like I've seen people make like these cool indoor lights out of the LCD screens from like abandoned sort of monitors, where they just take the LCD screen out, do a little bit of wiring, and then it's like this really low efficient, super bright light that they have. There's some awesome things you can do from salvaged bits and bobs. You don't quite appreciate it. Like just the little motors that you can take out, all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, I remember people in school used to collect the mouse balls.
Did they? What for?
Yeah, I don't know. People just liked them.
Oh, okay. What, like a
They'd
stress
be used
ball?
like currency on the schoolyard and stuff. Yeah,
It's a stress ball for school.
yeah. But obviously the IT teachers hated it because yeah, I don't imagine they were cheap.
Probably not.
Anyway, moving on from the 90s. Remember that issue we talked about some time ago where how do we stop birds getting killed by wind turbines?
Yes. We've got two solutions by the looks of it. One, noise, scare them off. Two, those turbines that we talked about, again, weeks ago now, vertical, non-moving ones. But anyway,
Yeah,
what's the
the
other
ones that
problem?
aren't a spinning killing machine. Yeah,
Yeah, not those. Yeah, the ones that just go rotate on an axis.
yeah.
The ones that you put down the side of
The
the
one
road.
with, they'll still kill you, but less likely. Um,
Give
but
me a
yeah, the
headache.
white noise does seem to be very efficient. So
Right.
if we can have turbines produce white noise, which I imagine they sort of do anyway, there's going to be some, I don't know, electromagnetic noise happening there. If you can ramp that up, apparently that's very efficient.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Um,
it's probably less annoying than the birdie song.
yeah, I suppose it's kind of like the stuff they put on gardens to scare away cats that you can't hear if you're over the age of 40, which is a shame when you're walking your dog and you walk past like old people's houses and that's all they have is bee as you walk past. Really annoying.
Okay. Over 40,
Yeah,
does this mean I can now hear these? So you can hear it over 40, you can't hear it over 40.
you can't hear over 40.
Oh, great.
So
So
the old,
I have a near future of peace coming.
basically, yeah. So like the old people who have these things, they can't hear it. They think, oh, it's just for the cats, not realizing, yeah, they're just for the cats and everyone who
Everyone
isn't
else.
old.
Children going, make it stop.
Yeah, as they walk to school and dogs and everything, just very inconsiderate. Um, and up we have Google. So I know we both got a bit on this. So Google I/O 2021
You
happened
actually watched it though,
yesterday.
didn't you? You actually watched it.
Not all of it. I watched the summary of it.
Oh, okay. Wise.
I kind of just watched the keynote. I didn't watch. They do keynotes and they do individual talks, etc. Yeah, so I just wanted to quickly scan ahead and see the big things that were announced. Won't go into everything. But yeah, they're trying to get on board with the whole fact that we're all remote now. For some reason, we all chose Zoom as our go-to video conferencing network. Whereas I would argue that Google Hangouts, Google Meet is now called, is so much better, but that didn't become the winner. Neither did Microsoft Teams, neither did other cool things. We all chose Zoom for some reason. So they're trying to get back in the game a bit, make it a bit easier.
I mean, that looks cool. You've got a document and then you can all talk about it. That sounds cool.
Yeah, makes sense. Google Docs has been very collaborative from the start. That's what they've just kind of built that in a bit more. And yeah, and I suppose Zoom can't do that. So that's kind of what they're doing now, trying to differentiate themselves a bit.
Can we code like that?
Yeah.
That would be cool. fun.
We can, yeah. VS Code's got a plugin called Live Share, so we could live code.
Like it.
A bunch of AI they've introduced. I won't cover this here. I'll talk about it separately. The frontier of computers. So, based on the AI they're bringing out, there needs to be a lot more crunching happening. So they've introduced some new components into their data centers, and they're getting things buzzing a lot faster.
Literally.
Which will make sense once we introduce and chat about the AI stuff. But yeah, they need a lot more power. I think they had a quantum computer. So yeah, they also have a quantum computing lab being set up.
A quantum AI campus with our first quantum data center and quantum processor chip fabrication facilities. Ooh.
Going all in on the fancy quantum. I don't think we fully cracked to like a daily usage yet, but I think Google is definitely on the forefront.
I got to the point where I think we could even explain it on the channel, yeah. The whole spin of this and
explain
one and zeros and multi positions.
It's 1 and 0 or 1 or 0 at the same time.
1 and 0, yeah. It's only 1 and 0 once you look at it.
Yeah. So this I will also discuss in its own. I'll skip it for now. This is also quite cool. So they introduced their sustainability challenges. As we know, Google have been quite sustainable friendly for some time. They went carbon neutral in 2007, using 100% renewable energy by 2017. And now they're going to be entirely carbon-free energy usage by 2030. So effectively, they will have zero impact to the world, which is pretty cool.
From a sustainability perspective.
Yes.
But not from an advertisement perspective. They'll still dominate.
I assume they're going to factor those impacts out of their report.
Probably.
I mean, for example, if they have a bunch of ads saying, I don't know, buy this diesel car, and they sell diesel cars on behalf of someone, are they to blame? Is that Google's fault? Who knows? But yeah, they've been quite leading in this world. I think, yeah, they were the first to go carbon neutral, and either way, it's a really cool idea. But this, what they're going to build is their new campus. I think you would like.
Is it a dome?
Dragon scale solar skin on top of a building.
Ooh.
This is 90,000 silver solar panels.
To generate 7 megawatts.
Looks very cool.
Can I put that on top of my boat?
Yeah.
And use it.
How big's your boat? About 2 acres?
And use it to double up as a sail.
You could probably pull that over the entire canal.
Oh, even better.
Just charge your boat as you drive through it.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's a very cool build. So you got like Apple built their new headquarters a couple of years back, and it's got that big circle thing. Kind of looks like the Pentagon. Yeah, it looks cool. Not really sustainable though. So Google are taking it basically to the rest of the companies and saying we're going to make our headquarters basically the most sustainable thing ever. And they're doing it with this never before used dragon scale solar skin.
Oh, I'm going to have to read more about that. That looks cool. Why have I not heard of this thing?
It's never been used before.
Oh. You've just given me another idea there in terms of the boat. At the moment, like boats have to moor up, so they have to like park up, get a rope, tie it around a metal thingy. Don't do that. Have your little solar thingies over the top. Instead of tying a rope to the end, you plug in. You plug in your boat, and it doubles up as a rope to keep you there. Yeah. Just plug directly into the mooring. Anyway, sorry.
Nice. And also beep when it's your time to move on.
Beep when it's time to move on. Like
beep beep beep. Time's up. Off you go.
Well, no, it will just let it out, and then you'll just suddenly realise that you're drifting down the canal. What the? Oh, I must have gone over my meterage.
Yeah. yeah, very cool. I want to see this one day. So they're going to build it in Mountain View, and yeah, I would love to see this when it's done. It's going to look amazing. Just the concept of it is, yeah. Anyway, so the two things they discussed as breakthroughs. Let's start with LaMDA or Lambda. I want to say it. I think Lambda has probably been coined by Amazon, so let's go with LaMDA. So this is a breakthrough communication technology. As we know, Siri, Google Assistant, Alexa, all that stuff. It's all about communication AI. They're not really that good. They're very okay. They can't detect nuances and different tonalities and all those human things that we come to expect from other people. So they're the type of stuff that a 3-year-old could understand.
Even the word
but the most complex machine can't. And if what they're saying here and showing is true, Google have made a very big step forward. So just have a look at this GIF for a second, and you open it again, so you can see it from the start. And just watch the conversation
demonstration for a blog post. Hi, I'm offering a knowledgeable demonstration for your blog post. I can engage in an interesting conversation about virtually anything. What would you like? If my washing machine and TV are both manufactured at the same time, what would the reason be? Well, it could be the power surge from the washing machine. Really? Which one's... Oh, wow.
That last response to the horse. You see that one?
Not really.
It's quite fast, actually.
It is quite fast. I can't read that fast.
Just watch when it purposely asks about the horse, as in the person does.
By the way,
this
how many
one.
legs does a horse have, and could it fix my washing machine? Horses have 4 legs, but how could that help? You tell me.
You tell me. This
response.
response.
It could certainly help you by moving you to a new home where you can install a new washing machine. Oh, I see. So it's got lateral thinking in it as well.
That's very, very deep. Yeah, that's a jump. For it to perceive the question that way, that's sort of what a human would do. Not all the time, but I think a very lateral human would. So that's a very big jump if they've somehow figured out how to add that layer of a communications API.
And
AI.
And is Lambda something that anyone can play with?
Potentially. I mean, not right now.
Stuff?
But they have a good record of introducing things and open sourcing them. We've had like GPT this year, BERT. GPT was that really awesome speech recognition one that became racist, if you remember.
Good memories, good times.
Yeah. So yeah, they trained Lambda up. So yeah, this is an example of how you expect a person to respond, and that's effectively what they're starting to learn and teach an AI to respond with too.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've played with the whatever Google's the TensorFlow and something else that they had before, basically the bot stuff. I mean, that was It was impressive what you could do with it, but yeah, it certainly didn't. If you said anything outside of the strict word here and word here, then it'd be like, eh?
Yeah, I mean, exactly same as Assistant. Assistant's got tricks up his sleeve, but effectively it's a script machine. Certain responses are certain responses.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, to go off the tracks entirely and just chuck in, a horse analogy in the middle of trying to fix a washing machine, and then, follow up that by saying, "You tell me how that helps," and the horse can move you to a different house. That's a jump. So obviously this is controlled. This is potentially scripted. We don't know.
Prepare to not
I want
know
to see
whether
this
you're
live.
talking to a human or something else.
Yeah, I want to see this live. I want to see exactly how it works. Before I jump on to the next big product they introduced, let's chat about this one. So this one is the one that you found.
Yeah,
what did you learn from this one?
I found it listed on a website of like things that you probably didn't spot. But yeah, so it's basically it's an app where you effectively take a photo of either skin condition, hair condition, nail condition, whatever, and it's used the fact that people have uploaded thousands upon thousands, if not millions, of these images, and it uses that to identify what it thinks you have. So it's basically your first step now towards, you don't necessarily call the doctor to find out what it is. You can now just take a photo of it, and Google will tell you what it is. Which is, it's pretty cool. I mean, if it reduces the number of unnecessary visits to the doctor because this thing's so good. I mean, it's been something that's been bordering around for ages now, as a possibility. You've obviously got virtual doctors as well, so to sort of minimise that. But if it can now actually accurately tell you what you've got and tell you what the treatment you need is without even needing to go and see a doctor, that's what people want at the end of the day. They're used to Googling stuff.
I mean, yeah, completely. And like the whole idea of that, any abnormality in your skin, people automatically assume it's cancer. So just to take a photo of it and say, is this cancer? No, it's just eczema. You're not going to die.
Which also means that if you're able to just do that at home without needing to call anyone, which might be embarrassing if it's not a very pleasant rash or something, you're more likely to get it done, especially if it's, in private areas. Because that's not
Would you feel comfortable uploading a private rash to Google?
I think so. Yeah. I think I would be more likely to send a dick pic to Google than I would to anyone else.
I suppose I'm going to send the full thing. I mean, it could just be on the base, but who knows?
And I thought I'd gone too far.
Anyway, moving on. So what Google did announce, which was their big thing, more big than the Conversation API, is Project Starline. So this is their answer to the fact that we're all sat at home looking at monitors. I'm just going to skip down. I'm going to show you the video first of all, just because it's pretty cool, and then it should explain everything. Before I play more, can you hear it?
I haven't heard anything yet.
Let me reshare. I don't think I shared my sound.
Share your sound, dear. Share your sound.
Now.
And the last time I saw her was...
Okay, let's go back.
Darlene is my younger sister.
The only thing is I should pause it a second.
Well over a year ago.
Because I'm seeing you shared your whole screen, so now we're looking at ourselves.
Are we?
Yes.
I didn't actually do that, did I?
Yes, you shared something different the last time. Oh,
there we are.
Goodness, it wasn't the other browser. That could have been awkward.
Yeah.
That's better. Go with that.
Yeah, full screen. You see it?
Love it.
Cool.
Darlene is my younger sister.
Third time lucky.
And the last time I saw her was well over a year ago.
Not being able to see my nephew in person is like... it makes me sad.
Just getting emotional.
So imagine instead of looking at a screen, you're looking at a magic pane of glass. And through that glass, you're seeing another person on the other side.
Hi, can you see me? Say hi to Auntie. Oh my gosh, I love you.
Eddie! So, you look beautiful.
And then you just start having a conversation, just like you would if you were physically together.
Like, I feel like you're here.
This is wild. I can see that curl in your hair. I can see how your sweater is falling.
But then you'll be saying, put on a little lipstick, Maury.
There are really three breakthroughs coming together here. One is the ability to capture people as they are. The second is the ability to compress that information and send it over existing networks efficiently. And the third is the ability to render that person viewable through a three-dimensional display. So it really feels like you're talking with someone right in front of you.
We see this as a first step at applying technology to solve that really important problem that we often want to be together and we can't.
Don't say goodbye. Don't go away. That was mind-blowing.
I've seen a lot, but I've never seen this.
I felt like she was present, and I felt like I was present in that moment too. It was like she was here.
Why is that so different? Like, it feels different just watching it, but I don't know why, because it's just, okay, yeah, so instead of having a flat 2D image, you've basically created a 3D representation effectively. Why does that feel...
It's effectively a hologram.
Why does that feel so different?
I suppose it's the hologram nature of it. It is a 3D thing. And it seems quite realistically 3D too, which is pretty cool.
I guess it's the simple difference is that your mind is not tricked into... your mind's not tricked into thinking that person is right there.
Yeah, I mean, the fact you can move left and right, and that 3D thing is still there, and you're not looking at a flat 2D thing that your mind knows is fake. I mean, it's really interesting. It looks like you need a lot of kit to get this working, so this isn't going to be for everyone.
You need a magic screen.
You basically need a dressing mirror with some hologram box and your own like booth seat,
and a very good internet connection.
And effectively a green screen behind you, seemingly. I imagine it would pick up all the crap behind you otherwise.
So basically you need a whole room in a house, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I can imagine these being in specific places. I don't know. I assume they're going to shrink it. This is the standard.
Yeah, they've very casually hidden like an absolute ton of tech in that box underneath the TV. It's got like all sorts of stuff in there.